Here we go. Hello, you guys. All right, I just got to fix the audio for our wonderful Suzanne Davis today, who is with us. I am just going to delete and add. So glad you guys are here to join us as we talk about something that's really awesome, and that is how to think big. Right, Suzanne?
Absolutely.
And we
Yes.
can dream and think creatively. And it's so cool. I love how the author of this book really breaks it down at the end, like the big main points that it's almost like a step by step guide that you can follow in order to be able to do this. And you know what's so cool? We're talking about dreaming and thinking creatively and thinking big, right? And I just got a message from Beth saying that we are so close to getting 5,000 subscribers right here on the YouTube channel.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that awesome?
Congratulations. That is, yeah.
So awesome. So, those of you that are like starting at zero know that I did too. And that anything is possible. I began this, dreaming about really being able to create this space for online tutors, and now it is just continuing to grow. So thank you to all of my subscribers who've been on here. I have a feeling that we're going to hit that 5,000 mark this week, and that's really really exciting and stuff. So tip one that he has inside of this book for how to dream and think creatively is to delete certain words from our vocabulary. That is impossible, won't work, can't do, no use trying. So if we delete those words from our vocabulary, he says that we're going to be able to all of a sudden, I think, like see those opportunities that lay before us. What do you think about that?
I think it's so true.
Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes is by Audrey Hepburn,
Mm-hmm.
and it's nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible.
Oh.
And so I've always tried to let that guide me through education and through everything that I do. Because in our school system, there's so many things, especially recently, where we say something isn't possible.
Right.
We can't do something as well. Um, and yeah, I just love that. I love the idea of focusing on really our language, and the words we say can be empowering or disempowering.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I think I'm gonna get that as like a slogan. Impossible is I'm possible.
Yeah, it's on my website in my about page, that
Is
quote.
it? I love
Yes.
it. That is
Yeah.
so awesome. And he tells us right inside of on page 105, think of something special you've been wanting to do but felt you couldn't. Oh my gosh, that's like our entire journey, right?
Yes. Hmm.
If any of you are like sitting out there and you're like, oh my gosh, I wasn't sure if I could do this whole like online tutoring thing, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Like, we set off like we really want to do it, but we don't know what steps to take in order to make it happen. We think we have to work for another company or all these other things. But he says, make a list of reasons of why you can do it. Like, let's not whip up defeat as something that's going to, take us out of the game, right? Let's really
Yeah.
focus on all those words that we can focus on that are going to say that we can do it. So I just want to say hello to our people that are joining us today. We've got Beth in the house and Ramona, Sharon. So glad you are here. Um, and we've got Maria, all our wonderful friends here, Michelle. Thank you guys for joining us today as we really start thinking about how can we think big and dream and be creative inside of our tutoring business. Now, he says average people have always resented progress. Many voiced a protest toward the automobile on the grounds that nature meant for us to walk or use horses. And I kind of was thinking about this with the online tutoring world, right? Like when I
Hmm.
first started tutoring, people were like, really, is like online tutoring going to be as effective as in-person tutoring? Did you hear that from anybody when you were getting started?
Um, No, I didn't really hear that from other people, but I don't listen to other people a lot when I plan to do something.
Sure.
So, so I didn't really hear that. I kind of always believed it was possible.
Hmm.
I thought of it, it's like the next logical step
Yeah.
in tutoring.
Yeah. And when I got started in 2010, there was like a lot of people who they just had never heard of it. They couldn't even think about it. They couldn't even wrap their head around it. I had a mentor of mine in the reading world who was just like, she gave me these eyes like, you are absolutely crazy to think that you can teach reading online.
Yeah.
And, you know, I couldn't help but think, but what if? But what if I could? Like, there are already lots of other subjects online. Why not reading? Like, I think it can be done. Let me find a way to be able to get it done.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is great advice not to really listen to other people. But when you're
Well,
talking about your tutoring business, you can't help it, right? Like you're like telling
right.
people about what you're doing, like because we're trying to get the word on out there about what we're doing. But yeah, like we shouldn't let the voices of other people tear us down. But it does make us think, like, okay, am I on the right path? Am I really off here? It's hard when you're trying to do something that's new, right?
It is, I think that's what drew me to like following you, like following you on YouTube, reading your book, like that feeling of I'm scared to do this alone.
Yeah,
How can I find like-minded people
yeah.
that are a little bit further ahead, and
I
listen
think
to
that
them.
definitely helps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now you're surrounding yourself with the people who know it will work, right? And it's not a conversation anymore of will it or will it not work. It will work.
Yes.
um Now the second step that he has inside of here is number 2, be receptive to new ideas. So that's going off of the car idea, right? Like be receptive to the
Mhm.
new ideas that are out there and how to do things. We are constantly having to change things inside of our business. Right? It's not just about like does online tutoring work anymore, but it's well, is this going to be the a better tool or like being open-minded to different tools that could help serve us inside of our business.
Right.
And I think that that can be really helpful. Number 3 is ask yourself daily, how can I do better? Because there's no
Yeah.
limit to self improvement. So when you ask yourself, how can I do better? Sound answers will appear. And I think a lot of us, we kind of get stuck in thinking that everything we do the first way is the right way and is the best way. But when you open up your mind to how can I do better, it changes the quality of your performance.
It does. I think of sports a lot. There's a lot of sports I like and a lot of athletes. And the thing they're always asking themselves is, how can I do better?
Right.
How can I do better, in this practice and in this practice? And, how can I learn this other skill that's going to help me win a game or, you know, win the ice skating competition, you know,
Mm-hmm.
all of those things. And you can see the difference between people who ask, how can I do better? And people who don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because this is how businesses actually disappear. If you don't have forward thinking and, this is a situation we're presented with, how can I do better or how can I serve the people that I was meant to serve? You are going to disintegrate and disappear. And we're seeing that happen with businesses right now. And it's such a sad thing to be able to see, but then you also see some really unique creative things that people are doing to stay in business.
Yeah.
And it's really cool.
Yes.
So number 4 is how can I do more? And I know this right here. A lot of people are just going to go like, what? I'm so busy already. What do you mean do more? Do more? Are you crazy? So he says capacity is a state of mind. So asking yourself this question puts your mind to work to find intelligent shortcuts. The success combination in business is do what you do better, improve the quality of your output, and do more of what you do, increase the quantity of your output.
Yeah, that's something where even reading it this second time, I was like, oh, how can I do that? Um, but it makes sense. But I think the human aspect to me kind of has that gut reaction, like I can't give more.
Uh-huh.
But
You get defensive, right?
yeah,
Yeah, it's
definitely
automatic.
that defensiveness. And then it was that idea of shortcuts, looking for shortcuts so that you can do things better. I was like, oh, okay. Now I'm following along. But there are
Right.
people in my life who would kill me if I don't devote enough time to them.
Oh, right, right. Maybe you need to
So,
devote more time to them and
yeah,
find
so
shortcuts
it
in
is
your
that
business so that you can spend more time with them.
exactly. Yeah. How can you streamline things?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Pat Dunn, I'm glad you are here. Woot woot. All right, so I was thinking about that too. Like, I'm gonna be on vacation and I can't serve people for a whole week, right? And I was thinking, you know what, Joanne? You have put together so many different tools and so many different resources. Why not do something you've never done before? And so while I'm on vacation, we're going to be having this 7 days of deals sale. And so each day there's going to be a new sale for a different program that people have the opportunity to purchase. And so it might be the 21-day time management. So if you're like, more time, like put more time in, I have no idea how to do that. The 21-day time management program is going to teach you how to do that. How do I find more time in my day? How do I actually use the time that I'm given better so that I can do more? And then we go into goal setting. How do I set the right kind of goals for my business, for my life, for everything? And how do I get people on an email list? How do I write those emails? How do I create content? I have created all these different programs, and you're going to have the opportunity next week, starting actually this Saturday, to be able to take a look and see which ones fit for you right now. And they're all going to be at 50% off. So this is all a matter of thinking about, like, how can I do more? So while I'm on vacation, it seems like I would do less, right? And I will be doing less while on vacation, but setting up this system so that people still can feel like they're being served even though I'm away.
Yeah, that's great. That's
So you guys may have seen like the different programs that are going to be offered. I've already sent it out to people so they can see it. On Thursday this week for our YouTube live, I'm going to be actually sharing more about those programs. So if you're like, well, what is it? Like, I don't really know what it is. You're going to be able to learn more about each of the programs during that YouTube live. So, he mentions also number 5, and I think this is really, really pivotal. Practice asking and listening. Ask and listen, and you'll obtain raw material for reaching sound decisions. Remember, big people monopolize the listening, small people monopolize the talking. And there was this piece right here, he says on page 118. In the office recently, I noticed a sign that said, to sell John Brown what John Brown buys, you've got to see things through John Brown's eyes. And the way to get John Brown's vision is to listen to what John Brown has to say. That's like the empathy chart, right? Like right then and there.
that's exactly what I was thinking. Like that's what we do with finding an ideal client and
Yeah.
really getting inside their perspective and their experiences
Yeah,
and
for
being able
sure.
to think, how can I serve that person?
Exactly. And a lot of us, when we get started with our online tutoring business, we know what that website looks like. It looks like it's all about me. Here's how many years I've been teaching. Here's the school that I graduated from. Um, I can't wait for the aha moments of my students. But it's not from the perspective of the things that the parent and the child are struggling with currently.
Mhm.
And so, therefore, it's really hard for them to hear you. And so even when you have like a conversation with the parent, like during that sales conversation, it's all about that child, right? And like what they're struggling with. And some of the things that the parents are saying, you need to write down because those are the words they're actually using. You can use that in your copy. You can use that in your empathy. So many different places where you can use that to determine what is it that these people are looking for and what they need.
Yes.
And they're looking for a
Yeah.
solution. They're looking for a solution to the problem. And you have to determine what is the problem. Is the problem that they need better grades? Is the problem that they need to get into school? Is the problem that they need to get a higher score on an SAT or an ACT? Is the problem that they can't read? Is the problem that they really struggle with getting their ideas down on paper? What is their problem? So, those tutors that are putting down like they want to tutor everything, you can't get down deep to the problem to be able to be the solution. And so, people then have a harder time hearing you. What are your thoughts about that, Suzanne?
Exactly. I don't think of what I can add.
Well, he says, so here's how you do this. Is like 3 stages to be able to really listen to what people want. Encourage others to talk. So if
Yes.
I'm encouraging other people to talk, like on the live, like on the call, if I'm doing like a sales call, I'm encouraging them to talk most of the time. They're actually going to be more likely to move forward with me.
Yeah, I'm amazed at how little I actually say during a sales conversation.
Right.
During that consultation, I'll start with a few questions and they basically tell me everything, you know, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
matter of really listening at that point and diving into their pain and what
Mm-hmm.
they're struggling with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And then they say number 2 is to test your own views in the form of questions. So let other people help you smooth and polish your ideas. Use the what do you think of this suggestion approach. Don't be dogmatic. Don't announce a fresh idea as if it were handed down on a gold tablet. Do a little informal research first and see how people react to it. And if you do, chances are you're going to end up with a better idea. It's so true. That's actually why I meet with my team each week on Fridays. Because I feel like as coaches and as an entire staff at the online tutor coach that we can all get better ideas on how we can serve people when we're talking together.
Yes, and there's that whole point of being able to piggyback off of different ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So an idea will start going around and people will start thinking about, okay, well, how could we do this?
Right,
Or what what comes next? Or
right, right. And what do we need to put in place in order to make it happen? Or
exactly.
it's a good idea. Let's put it on the table. Maybe it's
Right.
not in the direction that we're going now, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. And then number 3, now this is the important one. Concentrate on what the other person is saying. So I actually listen with a notebook. I don't know if you do this or not, but I'm constantly taking notes like, okay, here's what's important to them. They want this, they want that, because I can't hold all of that here. Some people are really good at that. I'm not. I need to be writing it down. So I constantly am thinking with a pen and listening with a pen.
Yeah. Oh, I am always writing. I am writing like I wish I knew shorthand because that's how much I'm writing what other people are saying and trying to capture it. Because my brain only can retain so much. And so I like to be able to refer to that and kind of rethink the conversation afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. It also helps me too, like when I like go back and I'm like formulating, like I do a free assessment. So when I'm formulating that free assessment, I can add that information that they've shared with me so that they know that I heard them.
Yeah.
And I reflect that on the report that I send on out so that they know, oh, okay, she heard me.
Yes.
And then his last strategy is to stretch your mind. Get stimulated. Associate with people who help you think of new ideas, new ways of doing things. Mix with people of different occupations and social interests. And I think this is really cool. This is kind of what you were talking about before. Like, if I want to grow my online tutoring business, if I surround myself with other people who are doing it, I'm going to be better prepared and better fit to do it.
Yes, definitely. I like that, we're from all over the world, all of us with all different specialties,
Yes.
and really all different styles. And I think, I've learned so much from that. I didn't think at first, I thought, well, I do, academic writing. I do English for academic purposes. Is this really going to suit me? And the people I associate with are from across every specialty, and it enhances my understanding because I can think of a student who's not just struggling in my area, but then also like their whole life and what they could
Sure.
be going through.
Yeah, absolutely. And a student who could be struggling in one area might be struggling in another area of somebody that you know that has a solution.
Yes.
So that networking gets to be really powerful. But he says, so this, I think this is like almost like one of the most brilliant ideas that he has inside of the book, because he's like, look, don't let your ideas escape you. And how many times have you run into Suzanne, a tutor who's like doesn't want to just tutor, but they want to do other things too. They want to write books, they want to create courses, they maybe they want to build a plane. I don't know. Like we do have a tutor out there. She's building a plane right now, right? Like you got
Yeah.
all these great ideas, but sometimes you have so many great ideas, you get stuck in the how in the world am I going to start implementing stuff on all of the stuff, right?
Yeah.
And he says, write them down. And my suggestion is get an idea notebook. So all your great ideas, they go into this notebook and you're able to write them down. Now, inside of the Jumpstart program, we use the 90X goal planner. And inside of here, they have what's called a brain dump. Okay. This allows me to take all those ideas that are right here, put it down on paper, and I can revisit them. It's not like they're gone forever, but it gets them from out of my head where they're circulating, right? The
Hmm.
ideas are there and they might be a good idea, but they might not be the idea for now. And so they end up being a distractor. By writing them down, I give my brain some time off from the idea, and I have time to evaluate and see, okay, which ideas am I focusing on right now? Which ones are going to help me get closer to my goal? And I can stay more specific so that I can go a straight line versus this like crooked, jagged, backwards line that isn't getting me anywhere very fast.
Yeah. I have that one. I would say I have that kind of, I'm going to diverge. Here's this shiny new object. So
Uh
I
huh.
do have like a 5 subject idea notebook. And it's because down to even the little things like what I'm going to blog about or blogging ideas, they can
Yeah.
be in all different directions. And I've really got to focus them. And that way I feel like I haven't killed those ideas. And
Yeah.
if they're really important as I pull through again, and they make sense, it's much better.
Yeah, for sure. We just had Esme join us. So glad that you are here. She's from Dallas. We've got Griselda. So glad you're here. And Griselda also goes by Gigi.
Yes.
Awesome. And Rabia wants to know what book we're chatting about today. So we are actually talking about this book right here. It's called The Magic of Thinking Big. We're on chapter 5 this week. The last 4 weeks we have focused on this four first chapters of this. So if you want to go onto my YouTube channel, you can easily find them. And then we're going to continue for the rest of the summer talking about this. We still have chapters 6 through 13 that we're going to be talking about. And it really helps because I want everybody to really think big inside of our community. A lot of people, when they start tutoring online, they have one goal. And for them, it is a big goal. I think it's a big goal too. But the goal is I want to replace my teaching income with tutoring income. It almost sounds like impossible when people start dreaming about this, but it's totally possible. but is it even big enough? And this is why I have the goal setting boot camp that you guys will have the opportunity to go through next week. I believe I offer it on Sunday. And I want you guys to have that ability to not just think about what does my business look like, but what do I want my life to look like? What do I want to do in my free time? What kind of lasting legacy do I want to leave in the world? How do I want to impact people? How much money do I want to make? What do I want to buy? What do I want to do? What do I want to be? Right? All of those questions that we almost feel like as a kid we can like think freely about them, but as an adult it's almost like we are punished in a way for kind of thinking about them. We get called a dreamer. We get called like people laugh. People might be like, "Oh, yeah, let's see how that goes." Anybody have that one said to them?
Yeah.
Like, "Yeah, good luck with that." Those aren't the people you want to be hanging out with, by the way. Hang out with us because we are going to stretch your thinking. We're going to help you to think bigger, think outside of that box and not play inside of the box.
Yeah.
And you've really been doing that with your business. You no longer just, you started with like helping like one sort of student, and then you started thinking, well, how could I even like step back and help the student before that student? So you have like that
Right.
ideal student of the academic, the student who's in college struggling with academic writing. But if we take a step back, what's the step before that? They're getting accepted into college. What do they need to do in order to get accepted into college? They need to write an essay to get into college. So guess what she
Yes.
does? You guys, Suzanne is helping people with now writing their essays to get into college. There's a problem. Some people are struggling with that, right? But now they know who to turn to when they're struggling in college with writing. How awesome is that? I love it.
Yeah, it does. Now I have high school students, and it does sort of follow this progression.
Yeah,
Um, and it's nice because I can see like the whole progress of
yeah,
somebody.
yeah. And you even help people with their scholarships and
Yes.
getting more scholarship money and all of that kind of stuff. And you've even started writing your own book. I mean, talk about thinking big. So Suzanne was thinking big about a year ago. We were in Cape Coral, Florida, together. And
Right.
Suzanne, when she like really thought about it, she wanted to be known as a best-selling author. And guess what? She's going to be. I already know it. I already see it in my heart. She's writing her book, and she is going to get that book out on the shelves, and she's going to be a best-selling author. She's like, yeah, okay, Joanne, that one's hard to swallow. No, it's not. Not hard to swallow. You are. Sometimes it's hard too to take like compliments for ourselves, right? And we almost think like if we think like that, what kinds of thoughts were going through your head when I'm like, I see it. I know what's going to happen for you.
um, don't don't oversell me was probably what I thought.
You said it. You're going to live it, and you're going to make it happen. See, now she
Well,
is surrounded by people that are going to make sure that she makes it happen.
yes, I do. And I have to say my accountability partners are great at helping me with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is key, isn't it? Having those accountability partners to keep you on task on the things that you really want to focus on.
Yes.
Keeps you in that path of, okay, where am I going and where do I want to be able to go? And he says next, he says, cultivate and fertilize your idea. Make your idea grow. Think about it. Tie the idea to related ideas. Read anything you can that is in any way akin to your idea. Investigate at all angles. And then when the time is right, put it to work for yourself, your job, and your future. How beautiful is that stated?
It is. And I was thinking after I read it, well, how can I do that? Because I haven't really, um, I think, fertilized the ideas in my business from writing all of the ways that I possibly could.
Yeah.
So,
And sometimes we
so
just
yeah,
have to focus on one at a time, right? And not sometimes we think about the big picture so that we can achieve the big picture, but then we have to start breaking it down.
Yes, that's the part that I think I am such an idea person. I am such a dreamer. And while I can break it down, it is not my strong suit. I have to really follow a process
Right.
in order to do it.
Yeah. You're awesome. I'm so glad that you joined me today to talk about this chapter. So I'm just going to recap, you guys. So if you want to dream and think creatively, number 1, eliminate impossible. Number 2, be receptive to new ideas. Number 3, ask how can I do better? Number 4, how can I do more? Number 5, practice asking and listening. And number 6, stretch your mind. And next week, next week I'm going to be on vacation. So the week after that, we are going to be talking about you are what you think you are. So come join us. You won't want to miss it, I promise you. And stay tuned for Thursday, where we're going to be talking about the 7 days of deals, where you're going to learn more about each of the different programs. Well, thanks for joining us, Suzanne. And thanks you guys for joining us. And enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Bye.